Hi there, my name is Ed Rambeau, and what you're about to see is how I get my photographs to look the way they do. So let's get started. Many people who are my followers on Facebook have asked, how do I get my photographs looking so sharp and color corrected and as beautiful as they appear? Well, it's really quite simple. This photograph, for example, that you're seeing on the screen right now was taken in Dubrovnik with a camera called a Nikon D70. A top-notch camera, but the quality that comes out of any camera is really not what it should be. It's not up to par. So you really need to put any photograph into some sort of software program that can enhance the photograph. For example, I use a program called Intensify Pro, or Intensify CK as it's come to be known. What you'll see right now on the screen is the default condition when you open the program. I've loaded in this wonderful photograph of Dubrovnik, and notice that I'm in the default preset. And notice there are disclosure triangles. If I were to click on this disclosure triangle, it shows me all the presets related to architecture. Black and white. If I click here, it shows me all the presets related to black and white. Well, I don't really use any of those. I basically use three. Focus, notice there's a gold star there. HDR soft, notice there's a gold star there. And detail extractor, notice there's a gold star there. How did I get the gold star there? To favorite it and put it in my favorites. 1, 2, 3. Well, if you want autumn morning to be favorited, just go to the black star and make it gold. Now, autumn morning will be in my favorites. I don't want that in my favorites, so all I have to do is simply come back and make it black again. So these are the three that I use: digital extractor, HDR soft, and focus. Now when I go to my favorites, they're all there, and I clicked on them in the order I used them. Detail extractor first, HDR soft, and then focus. So let's go to the detail extractor. Notice layer 0 is the default layer. When I click on detail extractor, it's going to go into layer 0. You can create more layers, which you need to do these other two effects, but I'll show you that as we go along. Let's go with detail extractor. Click on it, and it gives you this slider. Now notice the slider is all the way at 100%. Watch this area in here, the rocks and all this detail that is brought into the photograph just by clicking on it at 100%. I'm going to take it out, and notice how it fades out and gets blurry. Bring it back, it gets sharp again. Look at the detail in the rocks down here as I do that. I'm going to slide them out, blurry, slide it up, nice and sharp. Gives me some nice detail. The next thing I want to do, once I get the sharpness where I want it, you can put it at anywhere you want. You can stop here if you want. You can go all the way if you want. I'm going to go all the way with this particular shot. Right next to the gold star is a little icon that looks like an arrow going one way and an arrow going the other in black. I'm going to click on it, and don't be alarmed at what you see, because basically you're only going to be using 4 of these sliders: highlights, shadows, vibrance, and saturation, and in that order. We're going to take down the highlights, which means all the bright spots like the sky, anything that's bright like this area right here, it's going to be taken down when you hit highlights, and all the lighter areas, anything light, are going to stay the same. So let's take the highlights down to give the sky a little bit of a more dramatic look. Not too much, but just about to there. Okay, now let's take the shadows. See these dark shadows in here? How dark they are? We could bring those up if we want by simply making them brighter. Notice how they're coming back? Okay, we got that detail back. Now we're going to go on to vibrance. Watch the greens with related to vibrance. See, greens and yellows primarily. See these greens in here? Watch when I boost the vibrance, how it picks up the green and brings it even more green. You can go exactly where you want to with the green. Once you get it looking pretty natural, not too crazy, but fairly natural, you stop. Saturation is the overall saturation to your photograph, the overall saturation. So if I were to bring it way up, look at how it really oversaturates everything. So you just want to find just about the right spot, right enough saturation to make it look realistic but not crazy, overly bizarre looking. So you want to just boost the saturation just a little bit. Now, anytime you want to see the before and after, all you have to do is go up to this guy right here. It looks like a CBS eye. Click and hold, and it turns yellow. And as long as you're holding and it turns yellow, it shows you what your photograph looked like before. Release, and it shows you how it looks like after. What a difference, huh? That's how it came out of the camera, and that's what this program can do to it. Look at the difference, before, after. Now, I'm going to go back to presets, because I want to use HDR Soft next. But if I were to click on HDR Soft right now, it would put it into layer 0 where Digital Extractor is. So it would wipe out all our work that we did. So you have to make a new layer for HDR Soft. Click the plus sign, and immediately a new layer is selected. When it's gray, it's selected. Gray, now this layer is selected. Now Digital Extractor is layer 0. That's the one I'd be working on. But I want to work on HDR Soft, which is the new layer, so I'll click on this. And now anything we do, once we hit HDR Soft, it's going into layer 1. Look at how bizarre everything looks with it up to 100%. So you want to slide everything all the way back down, and you want to bring it up just to where you think it's starting to make the photograph pop. Just to about there. But there, everything looks beautiful here, but look at my sky. My sky looks kind of patchy, and I don't like what's going on in the sky. So how do we get rid of that but keep this? Very simple. Go up to your brush. Click on the brush, and notice it's a big round circle now. Go over here and hit Show, and notice that everything is red. What we want to do is we want to make what we want to adjust red, and leave the sky not red. Because if we were to leave the sky red, it becomes part of the adjustment. So we only want to adjust everything but the sky, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to make everything but the sky red. Now once you get along here, your horizon line, you can then move fairly quickly and just make everything else red real fast, real fast. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. Now notice you can't, if I were to click here, it puts a little bit of the sky. So what we want to do is we want to undo that by hitting Command Z. Command Z is the undo button for everything. Any last move you ever made on your computer, hit Command Z and it will undo your last move. That's on the Mac only. I don't know about the PC. I don't know anything about PCs. But right now I want that house. So I want to right click, and I want to make the size of my brush smaller so that it fits more into the house, and I can paint just the house without getting the sky. And I want to get a little bit of this over here, and I want to get this over here, and I want to get the tree over here, this tree over here, and everything along the horizon line. Now don't worry if you go over, because it's very simple. A little bit of the sky selected everywhere. Anywhere the sky is selected, hit this erase button and come back and just remove everything, any red that's shooting up into the sky. You don't have to be too exact with this. I'm not going to be too exact because I just want to show you, give you the general idea, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I wiped some of the red out there, so just go back to the brush and repaint the red in. Undo show, because right now if you have show on, all the red's showing. You want to get rid of the red, so just click on that and it makes the red go away. Now notice that anything this slider does is affecting everything but the sky, because the sky is not red. It's not painted red. See? Everything's red. Everything red is going to be affected. Slide the slider down to 0. Slide it up to where you want it. Once you have that saturation exactly where you want it with this beautiful HDR soft effect, leave it at that. Go back up here, click on this eye, hold it down, and look. That's before and that's after. That's what we've done thus far. Look at the difference to that photograph. That's how it came out of the camera, and this is what these beautiful enhancement programs can do to your photographs. Look at that. Okay, now the last one is focus. We didn't use that yet. If I were to click on focus now, it would put it right into layer 1, because that's the layer that's selected. We don't want that layer to be altered or changed at all, because that's where HDR soft is being applied. So what we want to do is create another layer. Create it. It's grayed out, so that means it's selected. Come down here and hit focus. Now focus, what focus does is it's great for flower shots, but that's about all. Because if you have a beautiful flower right here and you want to highlight it, you can use this to highlight it. Basically it's a vignette, what they call a vignette. If you want to click on here and slide all the way down to the bottom, you're going to see where you can place your center. So let's say that the flower were here. The flower is here. You click on the center of the flower, and notice how it creates a dark line in a circle, but the circle is going this way now, way over here, where you can't see it, because this is where you selected your center, because that's where your flower was. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to put the center here, but I don't want that digital effect at all. So any effect you don't want, just unhighlight the layer, turn it off. For example, layer 1, I can turn that layer off or back on. See the difference? Off or on. That is the HDR soft preset. Remember, this is the digital extractor. Layer 1 is HDR soft, and layer 2 is focus. Right now, focus is off. If I put it on, I get that. If I turn it off, I get that. Layer 1 is HDR soft. If I were to turn it off, I don't get the effect. If I want the effect back, I turn it on. Whatever is turned on when you save is what your photograph will be saved as. It will look exactly as it looks on the screen. And to save it, you just come over here and click this right arrow angle thing in a square and hit Save As. Name your file and put it where you want it and hit save. I usually boost this all the way up to high so I get a nice high quality too, but I'm not going to save this because I've already saved it, so I don't need to do that, so I'm going to cancel out of that. But that's primarily what you do. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, this program is only for the Mac. There are other programs that do similar things for the PC, but I guess Photoshop you could use, but it's a lot more involved and detailed when you're using a program like Photoshop. This one is a couple of simple clicks and boom, you're done. So that's why I prefer Intensify Pro, but it's only for the Mac, and it's located at macfun.com. You'll see the name on the screen, macfun.com. Now, why am I showing you this? Because a lot of people don't want to take the time to do this. They have a wonderful photograph that they'd like to have enhanced, but they don't know how to use these programs, and they don't really want to spend the money to buy the programs. So here's what I'm offering. Anybody who has a photograph that you'd like to have enhanced, email it to me at the address at the end of this video, and I will enhance it for you, and I will email it back to you with a watermark. If you like the photograph, you pay $10, and I will email it back to you with the watermark gone. And you can use it to print out, or you can send it to Staples and have them print it out for you. You can have it enlarged. You can do whatever you want with the photograph. You would pay via PayPal, but all that will be described at the end of this video. Right now, I'm going to present a slideshow which will show you the various photographs that I've enhanced. What you'll see is the original shot, which will fade into the enhanced version. So enjoy the show, and thank you for watching. What you have just witnessed were a series of photographs displayed in their original condition as taken from the camera and how they can be enhanced. If you have a particular photo you would like to have enhanced or restored, simply email it to the email address you now see on the screen, and it will be emailed back to you in both its original condition along with the enhanced version, which will contain a watermark. If what you see pleases you, simply email me and tell me you like what you see and you'd like to purchase it. I will then email you back describing all the payment possibilities, which includes either a check, money order, or the use of PayPal. Once payment has been received, your enhanced or restored photo will be emailed to you with the watermark removed. With that being said, this is Ed Rambeau saying thank you so much for watching and have an awesome remainder of your day.